Hello, everybody. It's Bill. It is Tuesday. I don't know what's today, March 24th. I figured that I'm home from work now. I am thinking I'll waste my time making another video that nobody's probably gonna watch. And yeah, definitely feels like at this point I have found with this YouTube channel another means to scream into the void because nobody really watches these fucking videos. Maybe a handful of people. If I posted, people scroll by. The last one I spent a lot of time on did not get any comments or likes or anything. So whatever. It's just par for the fucking course, to be honest with you, at this point. But there's a couple things I want to touch on something from my last video here for people and follow up, because I put a lot of thought into that last video I made, and I liked all of the things that I said in that video, and I stand by them, but in retrospect and watching it a couple times, I didn't really tie in the way I wanted to, and I spent a lot of time on the racism thing, and I kind of jumped right into that out the gate with where I went with that video, and I didn't really, I don't know, maybe in so many words, some people, like anybody watched it, but anybody that did watch it, maybe they knew where I was going with it, but I just wanted to clarify something, that the reason why I used the racism thing and talking about the divide between people in this country and the influence that that all the media and everything has, and they're pushing this. Like, this is what they're pushing. There's not enough dissent that's in the mainstream media, and then you add into it all of the people throwing fuel on the fire to the current societal problems, making things worse. They're fucking ignorant, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're just bad people. But I started with the racism and talking about blacks and coming out of segregation and a lot of roadblocks and unwillingness for people to kind of change their attitudes and mentality, because it's either deep rooted or they just like being that way. I don't know. But the point is, I started with all that, and then I led into the whole thing with the immigration. And it's important to recognize and understand that this is a huge tool that these folks are using. And like I said in the last video, they all have skin in the game, so the longer they keep people angry and the longer that they keep people fighting and everything, the more easily we're all distracted with the infighting, that we don't realize the shit that they're doing behind the scenes, And, like I said, the media is just willful fucking assholes that want to continue, living awesome lives, and they have compromised themselves. If they used to be, people with integrity, they've compromised themselves by just saying, changing their mentality to, whatever. I'll say what I have to say. I'll be dead at a certain point anyway, so while I'm here, I might as well live my best life. And, if I got to stomp on people along the way, then so be it, And that's where the fucking problem is. That's where the problem is with fucking everything, because anybody that's like massively successful has gotten there by just either dumb luck or being born into a lot of money and being able to have all the resources you need to decide whatever path you want to do with your life. And even if you got that much money, you can fuck up and you can fuck up and you can fuck up and you can fuck up again and still have money to try over and do something new or whatever. But one of the biggest things that they're using right now in their influence in dividing people is the racism, that they're pushing, and the demonizing of immigrants, like they're not fucking human beings or something like that. Like they're not families that were trying to fucking escape a bad situation. If your family's in a bad situation, what the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna try and look for a solution for them? If you're fucking in a war-impoverished company or country, if you got fucking gangs and shit all over the place, are you gonna try to get the fuck out? Like, for real. And I'm not talking about our inner city gangs and stuff like that. I'm talking about big fucking, militias and shit like that are, pushing through the drug trade and smuggling and shit like that. That's where these people come from. Like, that's abundant everywhere. It's not like they just left the fucking inner city because it was rough. These are people who are trying to escape. You know what it takes to fucking get your family and try to get the fuck out of the country? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what you need to do? Can you imagine putting your children in harm's way so that you can at least try to get them a better life than where you were from? Jeez, man. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the affluent thing. And, if you don't know the word affluent, it means rich. It means you're fucking rich. And people that are born into that, are the people that are fucking up this country. Because their parents are rich. They may not do great in school. Their parents pay their way, or they get bad grades. They fucking make a donation or whatever, and the college has a new building put up or something like that, and they just kind of let it slide. I mean, this shit happens all the time in the background. You don't even know it. And then these people get companies given to them. They get awesome, hookups with people that their rich parents know or whatever. And these are the people that, as a society, for some reason, we have put them up on some pedestal, and we think that because they're rich, they're smart, and they're not. I'm sure there are plenty that are. I'm not discrediting that there aren't. And I'm not discrediting there aren't rich people that, do exist, that do care. People like maybe a Mark Cuban or something like that. But that's a guy that came from humble beginnings and remembers it. But most of them don't remember it. Once they get to that next tier, they're like, I ain't looking back. Fuck those people. We're those people. All of us. So you give, credence and credit and admiration to these people, and they're the people that are ruining our fucking lives. And, just on a tangent here, the gas prices keep going up and shit, and people are just fucking ridiculous about it. And they're like, oh, well, we're up by Biden, and it was ordered by Trump. You know why it went fucking down with Trump? Because of fucking COVID. People weren't driving. The gas companies had to lower the price of gas because the oil barrel prices were so low. That's how we got a fucking surplus built back up for a while. Because we bought that shit so cheap because they couldn't keep making because they had nowhere to put it. Because nobody's driving. Nobody's buying gas. So then what happens? What happens after that? It's not that hard to fucking think about it. All of those corporations, all those oil corporations and gas corporations and everything, their profits go up quarterly all the time. They took a big fucking hit during that little period during COVID. And then, when Biden got back in, they fucking want their money back. They're not just going to be like, oh well, just chalk it up to a loss. Like, what are do you understand how corporations work? They don't take losses. They do not take losses. You take losses. Every company that sells to the company above them, and above them, and above them, and above them, all the way up to the corporation, they all fucking have to take the hit. And then when it comes down to you, your price is fucking high for anything. That's how it works. So if you fucking think that, because Biden got into office and gas went up and gas prices were high during Biden and affordability was high during Biden, how about these people are not going to fucking take a loss? The corporations aren't going to take a loss, okay? Look at every time, a big event happens, these people have a fucking excuse to raise your prices, and they don't go back down. And when they do that, guess what? They have this big, huge gray area where they can fucking pad their profits a little bit more. And that goes into the higher price you're paying. You don't hear anybody talk about that. You don't hear about that talked about on the news, but that's what happens. They raise their margins. They take the opportunities for big events to up their margins so that they make more money and they make more money back. Think about when you went to the grocery store before COVID, every grocery store gave you fucking bags. And then what happened? Oh, then we're going to start charging for bags. 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents, now up to 9 cents in most stores. Oh, you can buy our reusable bags. Oh, we're out of reusable bags. And we don't have any regular bags either. Fuck you. Carry your shit out in your hands. And there used to be such a thing as a regard for a good customer experience, and that doesn't fucking exist anymore. That's very few and far between to find anything like that. I don't know. I wanted to address the things that I said earlier, about the last video, because I didn't want people to think that it was a video about racism. It's a video about influence, and the people that are influencing you are making people more racist. They're telling them it's okay. And just because they don't come out and say it's okay to be racist, them continuously putting horse shit in people's heads is what gets us there. And we have a responsibility to be smarter than that. We have a responsibility, if we are actual, patriotic citizens that care about this country, to not just turn a blind eye to shit, to not just be like, well, I don't really care about that because it doesn't affect me. Because if it's the United States of America, then we all need to be united. Get your head in the fucking game. What's your patriotism anymore? Divided? Is that what you're pushing for? Is that what you're all about? You want certain fucking people out? People that don't think like you? People that don't look like you? Fuck that. I can't believe the amount of disappointment that I have to just witness all the time and feel. I can't believe the amount of shame that I have to feel. People just can't look at a given situation and know right from wrong. They just gotta take everything at fucking surface level. They can't fucking think about anything. Good God, man. We're all fucking doomed if people don't get their head in the game and stop with this fucking childish bullshit. Have a great day.